bees. Appreciate that. Beezel's making a little room for me. Because he is the bees. Okay. Okay, what else? What else is going on here? Oh yeah, start the IG. There we go. Great. Okay, it's nice outside, huh? Got the cat out there. He's chilling. Hey, chill, killer. All things chill, all things kill. He's a cat. But hello to all of you that are here. I'm sure that the main YouTube channel is still down. Probably going to be a few more days on that. Yeah. I can't remember what day it was I got the strike for medical misinfo. It was probably about 4 days ago. So, whatever. Hey there, hippie chick on the IG. What's up? Cool. Aight. Taco Cartoon Saturday just isn't like it used to be. I wouldn't know. You know? I wouldn't even know what channel to put it on for cartoons on Saturday morning because it's cable now, right? Our Saturday mornings when we were little kids, they were awesome. It's all we could wait for. I mean, the whole week was always about Saturday morning cartoons. It's like, you know, sugary cereal and Saturday morning cartoons. What more do you want? You know? And our cartoons were pretty tame back then. They weren't for adults. It was all kid-themed shit. Now, they all try to slip in, you know, adult themes into the cartoons. So when the parents are sitting there, they can enjoy the stuff that their kids don't get. And I think that's bullshit. Why are you feeding your kids information that they don't understand? What's the point of that? That's not how you grow. Hey, Crispy Cat. Hey, Hippie Chick. You got the IG first, then you got the Rumble. Oh, we got a Rumble notification that went out. That is great. That's great to hear. Drinking some black coffee today. Hello, everybody. I wonder which Facebook I'm logged into on this channel. I wouldn't think I'm logged into any of them, right? Oh no, I am logged in. That's the wrong one. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. We removed your content, American Paint. Yeah, I know about that, dude. Oh, God. Oh, my account is restricted for 3 more hours. All right, 3 more hours. So in 3 hours, I'll be free on the Facebook jail. I'll be out of Facebook jail. Okay, no big deal. It's not like anybody watches from Facebook, really. And definitely nobody's watching on the main channel because it's down too. Yeah. So, stove perked caramel flavored strong coffee. Oh, right on. So There's not much to talk about, really. I mean, there's nothing really new in the news over the last 24 hours that's come up. I watched Cult of Dusty cover Joe Rogan last night because Joe Rogan is now speaking more about Christianity, and Dusty thinks that Joe Rogan is turning to Christianity after spending years, debunking the Bible and all the bullshit in it. I don't know. I didn't get what it was that Joe Rogan said. He was talking about other people, really not himself. He was just saying people need in their lives, they need that the moral code that religion gives them, and they don't know any other way to get it. That's true. People are dumb. Most people are fucking stupid, and they don't realize that somebody is lying to them to get them to act a certain way, to manipulate them. And that's what religion does. It manipulates people. Joe Rogan is well aware of that. But he also feels like some people benefit from that manipulation because I think he realizes how dumb a lot of people really are. And Cult of Dusty also calls Tucker Carlson a Vladimir Putin shill, a Russian asset, and he means it when he says that. And I disagree with Dusty on that. I don't think he's a Russian asset. I think he wants the war to end just like everybody else does over there in Ukraine, and he went over there and tried to do something about it. And Dusty, let me also tell you this: is Christiane Amanpour, is she a Russian asset? Because she was trying to get an interview with Putin too. Does that make her a Russian asset? And she's not the only American, even left-leaning anchor or journalist who has attempted to get that interview. Don't be all pissy over Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I hate him just as much as you do, Dusty, but I'm not going to call him out when he does something good for a change. And you know what? You still have that blind spot, Dusty. You still have that blind spot. I'd like for you to rip your blinders off. And all you got to do is give Tucker Carlson a little bit of credit for going and having a conversation with somebody that we're at war with. That's a good thing. That's how you end wars. You start talking, Dusty. I don't think you get that. So maybe he needs to hear that. I don't know. Cult of Dusty definitely has a blind spot, and cult is a good word for his show. Yeah, it's good. I mean, he falls for his own narrative. He is a victim to his own fucking lies and narrative. Oh, are you back? Hello. Hello. Yes, you're very accepting of the pets. You're very accepting. You said, I have free reign. I can go in or out. I like this world. I'm going to go back out with my buddy, Harles. Hey, Harles. What's up, Harles? We're buddies. Yeah. I just came over here to hang out with my buddy. This is a good boy. All right, so there was that. We covered that. I watched Carl the Moon this morning. He said that the price of Bitcoin is just going to keep going up now. He says, according to Carl, he says, you want to buy Bitcoin, now's the time to buy it. He said, because what he said is, we're going to go right past the all-time high. It certainly looks like we're headed that way. I really have no need to buy anymore. I've got money, too. I've got money sitting in a fucking savings account. Plenty of money. And I'm just like, if it goes up, I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm not being greedy about it. I've already paid off all my taxes. Well, I'll find out what I owe now. There'll be probably a little bit more I got to come up with, but I've got that sitting in the bank, ready to go. Once that's done, then I just got cash sitting in the bank. Got a couple things, purchases I have to make in the next few months, but no big deal. And yeah, it's good. Just wrap up and leave. So stupid. Wrap up and leave. What about end show? Wrap up. You guys are fucking idiots. Okay, get rid of this page. Get rid of that page. I get rid of that page. Yeah, I'd just assume not share any more personal information around my relationship on the show. I appreciate you not asking about it. That's a big that's the runts. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. All right, got my kefefe. Gonna have some cannabis now. Joe Biden is in question over his onset dementia, and the White House is striking back because it's true. He is suffering from dementia. It's true. And it's a big deal because he will not be able to last 4 years. He's done. He's fucking done. His lifetime is on the outs. The candle is being extinguished as we speak. And he does not have any more leadership left in him. So we got to get rid of that guy, you know. And Donald Trump is failing too, mentally. If I give you a choice between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, only a dumb cunt is going to take that decision. You know? I just can't even... Biden says Israel has gone over the top. With whose money, Biden? With whose money, Biden? You fucking hypocrite. You fucking demented cunt bitch. Fuck you. Israel's gone over the top, says Joe Biden. With Joe Biden's fucking illegal money that he gave to Israel without asking Congress. Yes, it is time to smoke. I'm going to close the door over here and then we will smoke. Let me just check the time. I got a minute cooldown. Let's see here. We'll do, it'll be perfect. 17:10, baby. 17:10, baby. I'll be right back. I just got to close the door here. I love that 7:10 on the end of that number. I love that 7:10 on the end of that number. Rogi ate all of his food. What a good boy. What a good boy. All right. We're coming back. We're coming back around, son. We're coming back around. Here we are. Back up in this bitch, as Cobra Dad likes to say. Billy Bong Thornton, new, long time no see. Finally watched the Putin interview last night. Why is CNN mad at him for doing the interview, Lil? Why do you think it's just CNN, Billy Bong? You think it's just CNN? You think it's everybody on the fucking left, bro? Why? Because they think that that Tucker Carlson did this to get Vladimir Putin's word out there to the world, you know? Like, Vladimir Putin doesn't have his own fucking platform. He's a goddamn leader of Russia, you fucking idiots. Cheers, guys. Don't make this about CNN, Billy Bong Thornton, or I'll make the next block all about you, you fucking bitch. Cheers. You sound like a fucking right-wing asset right now. Just a right-wing ass. It's so funny how I start defending Tucker Carlson over free speech, and all the right-wing nut jobs start crawling out of the woodwork. I find humor in that. That tasted delicious. You like that, huh? I was like, you make this all about CNN, I'll make the next block all about you. Did you hear what I did there? That was pretty funny, wasn't it? Yes, CNN is guilty, I'm sure, of complaining about, you know, Tucker Carlson being an asset. But so is MSNBC. So is every fucking left-wing politician on the planet. So is the Biden administration. You know? It's not just fucking CNN. It's the entire left. And it's not just the left either. Don't you think there's right-wingers who hate fucking Russia? Don't you think there's right-wingers who hate Putin? That are pro-Ukraine? How do you think they feel about Tucker Carlson going over there? Why are they mad at him for doing the interview, lol? Huh? Why are those right-wingers mad at Tucker Carlson going and speaking to Russia, Billy Bong? Huh? Oh, I can cunt off too, motherfucker. Just like you can. Anybody got anything legitimate to add besides your right-wing talking points? You know, you want to talk about free speech? Hey, man, here I am. You know? I'm not here to defend your racist cunts for you. And no, I'm not going Joe Rogan on you either. That ain't going to happen. I ain't getting bought out by nobody. Does anybody have anything intelligent to add to the conversation? That's my question. Not little fucking cunt cheerleaders for Tucker Carlson because he's a right-wing cunt job like you. Not that. No. I'm talking about free speech, and I'm talking about intelligent conversation. It wasn't informative. They talked about Russian history. You fucking idiot. Of course you hear from right-wingers on Tucker's interview as informative. Of course you do. Because you're all a bunch of dumb cunts, hippie chick. All of you right-wing nut jobs are a bunch of dumb cunts. What do you expect? It's not about the content at all. It's got nothing to do with what was said. The point is, Tucker Carlson went over there and did the right thing. That's it. It doesn't matter if he did a good job, which he didn't, you know, and he let Putin talk for a half hour about the history of Russia. Nobody gives a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about the history of anybody where I'm living. Fuck you. That's my house now. You know? So fuck your history. You think somebody that used to live right here gets to come over here and say, well, you know, way back 200 years ago, my ancestors used to live right there where your house is. And I'm like, well, that's too goddamn bad, right? Because I don't live 200 years ago. I live now. Right? So who fucking cares where was fucking Russia in the year 800, you said? You're watching straight fucking garbage. Putin and Tucker Carlson, and you're sitting there cheerleading it. Oh yeah, it was informative. The people that I watch say it was informative. Oh, was it? Open a fucking history book. I'm going to ask again, does anybody have anything intelligent to fucking add to the conversation? We literally went over the fact that there was nothing informative about that interview at all. We went over that already. We all agreed. It was bullshit. It was propaganda from Putin. Hey, man, whatever it is, it is. You're going to say CNN is lying about that. You're going to say that the left wing, that the Biden administration is lying about it. No, Tucker did give Vladimir Putin a voice and did give him a platform. He did. He did. It's true. You're going to deny that? You're going to just say it was informative? And why are they mad at him? Huh. It's funny to hear from fucking right-wingers. It's so funny. Your bias is showing. I don't understand why you guys can't look at anything from the fucking middle. Why is it so hard? You're indoctrinated cultists. That's what you are. You're a right-wing cultist. Hippie chick, Billy Bong Thornton. I'm talking to both of you. And it just seeps out. You know, of your words and of your intentions. You can't fucking hide it. You can't hide your racism. But you know what, man? George Lopez, he made a lot of sense the other day. Did you guys hear George Lopez speak about this? Here. Immigration. Hold on.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
I have to say, I'm surprised that somebody can be so racially out with their views targeted toward people. I don't think of him much as a president, and I think less of him as a man.
And what do you make of the fact that there's a real possibility, he could be reelected?
He could actually be president again. And if he is, Chris, I said I was going to leave the country the first time, not until I pay all my taxes. I'm staying here. But I just think it's beneath what America has stood for.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
I have to say, I'm surprised that somebody can be so racially out with their views targeted toward people. I don't think of him much as a president, and I think less of him as a man.
And what do you make of the fact that there's a real possibility, he could be reelected?
He could actually be president again. And if he is, Chris, I said I was going to leave the country the first time, not until I pay all my taxes. I'm staying here. But I just think it's beneath what America has stood for.
Donald Trump is beneath what America has stood for, which is not demonizing people because they have a shitty life somewhere else in the world. And that is exactly what Donald Trump does. And all of you fucking cunt fucks that subscribe to that notion, you deserve all the fucking pain and agony and sadness that you get in your pathetic shit lives. So, I also believe he went on to talk about the way Donald Trump speaks, because this is a long interview, but it's not in this clip, about immigrants, specifically. And he says, in no uncertain terms, he says, Donald Trump demonizes immigrants. He said, I'm pro-immigration. He says, I'm pro-legal immigration. He says, I don't want people coming into the country illegally. He said, but those people, they're not criminals and they don't deserve to be branded like there's some kind of vermin or poisoning your blood of your country. So, fuck all of you dumb cunt fucks that still support Donald Trump. Fuck all of you. I'm fucking done with you. And, I won't vote for fucking dumbass failing Biden. I'm not going to vote for anybody. I want you to know that. But those of you that are out there with your little fucking pom-poms cheerleading on either of these two fucking dumb cunts, I'm just here to tell you, I'm the guy that's fucking here to call you out. I'm the guy that's here to call you out. No one else will. I'll do it. Because they're all a bunch of fucking pussies. But I don't mind doing it. And if you haven't figured this out yet, why the fuck do you watch this show? What are you doing here? Jesus fucking Christ. You still trying to figure out who you're voting for? Let's watch some Lee Camp. Maybe. Oh, it's running so slow.
I brought it to you the other day that the IDF dressed up, especially unit in the IDF, dressed up as doctors and patients, ran into a hospital in Gaza and murdered, I believe, 3 Palestinians in their beds as they slept. And it is a war crime to dress as enemy soldiers or to dress as doctors. But, of course, Israel is... could you imagine the list of war crimes that Israel's committing right now? It'd be... you'd be going for hours. Here's the response of Matt Miller, the spokesperson for our State Department, when he was asked whether the U.S. government endorses that action, the IDF dressing up as doctors, which is a war
And this
crime,
is the Biden administration.
and going in and shooting people in their beds.
This is the Biden administration.
Israel has the right to carry out anti-terrorism operations.
Right.
See, now he's avoiding answering the question. He's saying they have the right to carry out anti-terrorism as...
But they don't have the right to break international law.
Not the question. The question was, do you have a right to commit war crimes? Do you have a right to dress as doctors and dress as the enemy and et cetera, and go and murder people in their beds? This is a propaganda technique. By rephrasing the question into something you can answer, he is able to answer. He's then fine. He's cleared himself of the reality of having to answer the question. Which the behind closed doors answer is, yeah, the U.S. is fine with Israel committing all kinds of war crimes, or else we wouldn't be sending them bombs to drop on children. That's the behind closed doors answer. The answer in public is rephrase the question in a way that you can act like it's fine.
Israel has the right to carry out anti-terrorism operations
Thank
to
you,
bring
MJ.
members of Hamas to justice. But as I said, we want them to be carried out.
It sucks, though.
Sorry, let me finish. In full compliance with it.
It sucks though, hippie chick, that I'm so good I can read right through your posts, right through the text that you send in the chat. That's how good I am. And I could call my audience members out on their bullshit bias because it's so fucking obvious. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing, man. It's like, now this is the time you're going to choose to start talking in my chat. Right. I get it.
Their national humanitarian.
There's all kinds of clues.
law.
So they say that. But when he's asked, does that mean you are condemning the IDF action where they dressed as doctors and murdered 3 people? He won't answer that. But you just said you want them to do it in line with humanitarian law. It's all garbage. It's all theater. And anyone who watches these and thinks they somehow represent anything the U.S. government believes, anything, is out of their mind. They've been eating paint chips. They've been sucking down.
It's so hard for me to watch this because I always revert back to Lee Camp going to China and, oh man, and cheerleading for the fucking CCP, bro. Oh my God. It's sometimes it's really hard to watch Lee now because of that. Ugh.
Mercury thermometers. That is the only way you believe a word coming out of this man's mouth.
I'm asking you, is this a conduct befitting a state that controls every single person in that whole territory?
We think.
And when he says controls every single person in that territory, he means Gaza. And you may go, well, what do you mean? Israel doesn't control every person. Yeah, they're in an open-air prison. And what he means is they control the water. They control the medicine that goes in or out. They control whether anyone comes or goes, which if Palestine were a nation, it would be one of their rights under international law to come and go freely from your country. Israel will never allow a two-state solution because that would allow people in Gaza to come and go as they see fit. You cannot stop people. Imagine if the U.S. said no one from France is ever allowed to leave France again. It's illegal. So when Israel says they support a two-state solution, they don't. It's a lie in order to get people to keep dealing with the diplomatic process and to not address the fact that Israel is an apartheid state. And so when he says controlling the people, he means that they surveil everything they do. They control their water. They control their medicine. They control their food. They control whether they leave to get life-saving medical procedures, which is why in Gaza, the life expectancy if you get breast cancer is like 20% or something. The life expectancy if you get breast cancer in the United States, or percentage of those who live, is like 80 to 90%. Most people in the United States, if they get breast cancer, they will survive. In Gaza, most will die because they're not allowed to leave Gaza and go to a hospital that can handle the procedures.
I think it is appropriate that they have the ability to bring members of Hamas to justice.
Again, rephrase it and into a way that that is not what he's asking.
But as I said, it needs to be done in compliance with international humanitarian law.
But if that were the case, if the U.S. actually stood by that, it has to be done in compliance with humanitarian law, then they wouldn't send tens of thousands of bombs to Israel since October 7th. That's not even talking about everything we sent them before. Tens of thousands of bombs since October 7th. We wouldn't have military right now in Israel advising them on how to perpetrate their genocide. We wouldn't have CIA, this is according to the New York Times, CIA helping Israel assassinate Palestinians. We wouldn't have this according to The Intercept. We wouldn't have, well, actually, it's according to a memo either leaked or released by the Pentagon.
Hey, Sammy Mendez.
Either accidentally released or released, not officially released, but it was a Pentagon memo telling troops in Iraq, U.S. troops, to be on standby to facilitate and support an invasion of Gaza. U.S. troops are on standby right now to possibly facilitate an invasion of Gaza.
I don't even have a comment to make right now about that. My memory is fine, says Joe Biden. Hassan covered that. Get rid of your short videos. I'm not watching them. There's a big X over the short videos on the right. You can close out the whole fucking shelf. It's gone for 30 days when you click on it. Fuck those short videos. This ends Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who cares? I don't give a fuck about that. Why the Segway failed. Face injuries, I would think. Celsius taxes explained. How to file your Celsius taxes. Yeah, I took a loss on that Celsius, dude. I wonder if I can claim that.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aaron here. In this video, I talked with Laura over at Crypto Tax Girl, talking about everything Celsius related. Whether you should claim if this is a Ponzi loss or a normal capital gains deduction, and basically going over many scenarios, and hopefully you fit into one of them, to help you understand more about what's going to happen with your crypto taxes, and especially with Celsius. So I am personally using her for my crypto taxes, and so far the experience has been incredibly easy and professional, and I would highly recommend it. If you do decide you want to work with her and her team for your crypto taxes and just taxes in general, they are CPAs.
Okay, so Sammy Mendez says, take a dab for you, boy, about to go under for surgery. What kind of surgery, Sammy? I will do a dab. What's your input on the Tucker Putin interview? I didn't watch it. I've heard takes on it. And basically what I heard from my own audience is that it basically covered Russian history, which doesn't interest me in the least. So this is my take on the Tucker Putin interview. It's a good thing that Tucker Carlson went to Russia and interviewed Putin. That's good. We're at war with them. We need to start a conversation somewhere. So that's good. Tucker Carlson should not be bashed for going over and doing journalism that other journalists at CNN have been trying to do since the war started. They've been trying to get an audience with Putin. He wouldn't do it. So for CNN or anyone else to criticize Tucker Carlson and say, you're a Russian asset, you have to imagine they all wanted to do it too. Would they be Russian assets? So, the content of the interview doesn't really interest me. I heard it was just a very disappointing interview. It was just basically Vladimir Putin just having his way with 30 minutes and saying whatever the fuck he wanted to say. Not being pressed, or held accountable on anything. So the interview itself, I really don't have a comment to make until I see it myself. Right? But the fact that the interview took place is very important. And Tucker Carlson is a fucking hero for risking his life and going over there and doing that. And for everything else Tucker Carlson has done, that doesn't negate it. Tucker Carlson is a fucking cunt until the day he fucking dies. He's a fucking cunt. All right? He can do everything right from now on. I'll never forgive him for all the cunt work hours he's put in. Bringing people over to the right. Making people hate immigrants. Turning people into racist cunts. Turning people against the LGBTQ community. Turning people in favor of Ron DeSantis' platform. Tucker Carlson supporting and being the fucking the one of the main advisors to Donald Trump during his presidency. Fuck Tucker Carlson, bro. Women don't have rights in this country anymore. What do you expect me to say? You want me to give these cunts, these Republican cunt motherfucks, credit for anything? What can I say? You know? Boy, she's not easy to look at, is she? Holy shit. Ugh. My precious.
It simply. So I'm gonna get into all the, like
Oh.
more of the details below, but just like in case you're not watching
Does she do the vocal fry thing too? Like, what's that character's name? Gollum. Oh boy.
all the way through, the first thing that you should know is that there's 2 types of losses that you can take, and one of them needs to be taken this year, which means you need to make an election for it on your tax return for 2023. So this is 2024, we're filing for 2023 right now. So this election needs to be taken on your 2023 return, and like the tax deadline is 2 months away as of right now filming this. And so we need to act quickly. We either need to file your tax return before April 15th so you can take that type of loss, or you need to file an extension. Even if you take the other type of loss, actually filing an extension might be beneficial. I'm going to get into the details, but just know that if you have Celsius, I've talked to a lot of people recently who are like, oh yeah, the distributions are coming in 2024, so I don't need to worry about it till next year, but I'm just kind of getting ahead of it. But if you take one of the losses, you actually need to do it this year. So we need to, keep that in mind and act quickly if you can. Like Aaron said, I'm like opening some slots to get it done before April 15th. We'll try and get as many of you in as we can, but even if we can't, reach out as soon as you can so we can get an extension filed, which will give us until October to file your taxes.
That's interesting. So I didn't know that up until you just told me that right now, that there are certain people that actually would want to file something specifically for Celsius in the next 2 months or this year.
We'll get into it. So I guess let me just go over a summary of what I'm going to talk about, and then I'll talk about how you determine which one you'll be in. So summary is I'm going to talk about those 2 different types of losses, and also some people that actually might have gains, which that's not fun, but you might have some gains actually here. And then talking about when to take the losses, the timing. So like I said, one of them is this year, another one is actually next year. Both of them might be the year after. So we're going to talk about the timing on the losses or gains again. Factors you need to consider to determine your loss, like personal situations that you need to factor in. And then also like things you can do now to get ready for it, like stuff you can start gathering. And then just because this is all kind of teaching you and it's going to be hypothetical, I'm going to walk through some examples that will show you like the actual numbers, and like you can kind of see what bucket you might fall in and hopefully relate to one of those numbers. But just before I get in, like quick disclaimer, this is super complicated, and I'm sharing what I've researched and like what I think is the right path here. And I'm a CPA, but like the IRS.
God, just tell us, man. Why are you talking so much?
I'm not going to give any tax documents for this. And then on top of that, there's so many personal factors that like factor into which one of
Talk.
Your marital status, your filing status, capital losses from previous years, your other crypto activity, like whether you filed amendments in the past. There's so many things that we need to consider when determining which method would be best for you.
So his eyes are too narrow and her eyes are too wide, and it is so hard to look at the 2 of them together.
Reaching out to us if you are unsure, so that we can help talk about your specific situation and make sure you end up like going down the right path here, and that we take things in the right timing in the right year, especially if there's big numbers involved. I guess quick disclaimer there. But okay, so
You can't sneak up on that girl, man. She'll see you from,
everyone's question.
She's got them periffs.
Celsius. What does this mean for my taxes?
45.
So, quick answer.
Hey, Bitter.
Likely,
45-40.
maybe not. It could potentially end in a gain. So the reason being is that your loss that you can take is limited by what your cost basis was in your coin. So I know that's like, tax word here. So cost basis, what is cost basis? Cost basis is what you acquired your coin at, the value of the coin at the time you acquired it. The most simple example is if you bought it with US dollars. That's super easy to track. If I bought 1 Bitcoin with 10,000.
Yeah, but I don't know which Bitcoin was the one that went into Celsius.
But like if you
God damn it
via trading, like selling 1 coin and then you
I bought them at different times, and I just put Bitcoin in. God damn it.
Receive it, if you were on Celsius, you could have had the interest income that you've been receiving. Like like the rewards, every time
I'll just
you
take
receive
the-
a reward, that's a different cost basis.
The cheapest
The
one,
price
I
fluctuates
guess.
every day. If you're receiving
This is the one I got the cheapest. That's the one I put in Celsius.
you're
No
getting
law regarding
0.001
cannabis. Cheers, everybody.
each day. Some days it's more or less depending on the price of Bitcoin. If you received it as a gift,
Cheers,
if you
bitter.
received it as income, like there's so many things that make up your cost basis. And knowing that number is extremely important. So that number is where the crux of all these calculations fall upon, is your cost basis. So again, if you bought Bitcoin on Coinbase, transferred it into Celsius, and then you lost it there, that'll be so easy to know your cost basis. But if this is Bitcoin that has been, or any coin, acquired, transferred. I mean, we have so many clients. They bought it here, transferred here, sold a portion of it here, staked it here. Now it's in DeFi. Now it's like, okay, what's the cost basis? Like that's
Right.
what we spend 99% of our time doing, is helping people figure out their cost basis so that they can create their crypto tax reports at the end of the year. So you got to know your cost basis, and all of that whole tangent was to say that the amount of loss that you can take is limited by what your cost basis is. So if you have 1 Bitcoin on Celsius and you bought this back in, when I did, or
Hey, Karen. Hey,
$1,000
Happy Chicks.
per Bitcoin was your cost basis, the most amount of loss you're going to be able to take here is $1,000. So you're limited by
Her
your
vocal
cost
fry
basis.
is
It doesn't
so
matter that
aggravating.
At the time of bankruptcy, that 1 Bitcoin was 20,000. It doesn't matter that now it's worth 40,000. Unfortunately, limited by what your cost basis was, because those other numbers are considered
Cheers.
unrealized gains.
Bitter.
Like they were up. This Bitcoin was up, but it's unrealized. The realized amount is only that 1,000. So all that to say, you gotta know your cost basis, you're limited by that. So if you have a really low cost basis, there is a time that you actually could end up with a gain. And that is if the amount of distributions that you receive are higher than your cost basis. So if you have that $1,000 cost basis Bitcoin, all of a sudden you're receiving these distributions that are worth more than $1,000 total, even though the total amount doesn't, if you add it all up, factor to 1 current day Bitcoin, it's more than your cost basis, so you might have a gain. It sucks, but that's kind of part of the reality there, unfortunately. But if you actually did have a loss, so basically if you've bought crypto higher than the petition price, plus also we're not getting back the full crypto, so even if you had the exact price as the petition price, you're not getting back 100% of it. You're only getting back like 70-ish with the current distribution percentages. So if you have bought it at higher than petition price, or even around, most likely you'll have a loss. And there's 2 types of losses, so we're going to talk about both. So one is capital loss. This one is probably one that if you're in crypto, you're familiar with this. This is anytime you sell, trade, or spend crypto, it results in a capital gain or loss. And so if you lost something on Celsius and you got $0 back, so basically whatever is left over at the end of the day that you don't end up getting back from Celsius, that will be a capital loss. But and I'll show you how we calculate that. But the downside is that capital losses are limited to $3,000 of net loss per year. So if you have a $100,000 loss and no other gains to offset it, you'll take $3,000 this year, 97 the next year, and it just keeps going indefinitely until you run out of 3,000 or until you have a gain to offset that loss. So, I mean, the next year you could have another $100,000 of gains, and then all of a sudden that loss can all be used up. But if not, let's say you're like, I'm done with crypto, I lost everything on Celsius, I'm not touching this anymore. That 3,000 is going to keep going unless you get gains from, mutual funds or stocks or real estate. You can use other capital gains to offset crypto losses. That's how capital losses work. That's one type of loss. The second type of loss that you can take is one that you would want to consider if you have a loss bigger than $3,000. So again, that loss is limited by your cost basis. So if your cost basis is bigger than $3,000, then you might want to consider this type of loss, which is called a safe harbor Ponzi loss. So this is not very common. You probably never even heard of this.
Yeah, I got
People that have
Ponzi'd.
been throwing it out. So maybe you have, but regardless, it was put into place in 2009 after the Bernie Madoff fraud in 2008, and it's a way for people to deduct theft losses from Ponzi-type investments. So in this case, this is what happened with Celsius, but before you can take it, there's a few stipulations. So one, you can't amend your previous year's returns to remove Celsius gains or income. You can only deduct 75% of the loss initially, and then you deduct the remaining portion once the case is finally settled. So whenever that is, next year, 10 years from now, you need to make an election in 2023 and file it on your 2023 return. So again, this is, I was talking about the two types of losses. There's one that's more urgent. If you're going to take this, it's more urgent. We got to take it this year in 2023, either before April 15th, or you need to file an extension to take it before October 15th. Also,
why not say which one results in the higher return? Just say, this is the one that you're going to want to do. There's two ways to do it, but this one is 75% and this one is whatever. But, it's like...
to note on this one is that a safe
different
harbor
reasons
loss
to
is
use
an
each one.
itemized deduction. So if you're not super familiar with taxes, on your tax return, at the end of after you list all your income, you have either an itemized deduction or a standard deduction. And a standard deduction is available to everyone. If in 2023, if you're single, it's $13,850. If you're married, $27,700.
That's what
So
it was on
entitled
those
to
forms
this,
I printed
but
out, that
you also
standard
are entitled
deduction.
to an itemized deduction.
I saw that
if you
number.
have deductions larger than these standard amounts. So not a lot of people qualify for these, but some do. If you own like a home, that could potentially.
And what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to take $13,000 off what I owe in taxes? Is that what that means? Why don't you explain what that means? Why don't they ever say what it means? What is wrong with these people? This is why we never learn this shit. It's all in code.
Push you past the standard deduction with mortgage interest and property tax. If you have significant charitable contributions, that would also push you. There's a few other ones, but those are kind of the two main big ones. It is an itemized deduction, so even if your loss is bigger than $3,000, but it's less than the standard deduction, then most likely it's still better for you to take the capital loss route. But those are two things to kind of consider there when weighing the options. So those are two types of losses, and hopefully you're still with me.
No, we're not with you.
I'm going to talk about when you can take the losses. So again, I kind of already talked about it a little bit, but so for safe harbor Ponzi losses, the revenue or the proclamation that we have, the RevProc, it defines the year of discovery as the year that you have to take the loss. And so what is year of discovery? Some people are like, is this 2022? Because that's when it shut down. So even though it happened in 2022, the actual year of discovery is 2023 because they define that as the year of indictment. And Machinsky was indicted in July 2023 for securities fraud, commodities fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy, market manipulation.
Why isn't he in prison?
So they say because it was determined that this was a Ponzi type investment.
Why isn't he in prison?
There was fraud involved. 2023 is the year that you actually will
He
take
could be
the
Bernie
loss.
Madoff's cellmate.
And so if you take the Ponzi loss, 2023 is the year you take it. And again, you take 75% of that loss, which I kind of talked about before. And then years after that, you'll take additional loss or income depending on what you get back. Capital loss, nothing that you need to do this 2023. So if you're filing your 2023 tax return and you've already kind of determined capital loss as the route that you're taking, nothing you need to do this year.
Well, let me just say this:
if you're get your cost base.
If you look like her, why would you choose to wear glasses that make you look even worse? I mean, those frames. Will someone please explain this to me? Because it's not just her. I see this everywhere. I got a nerve tinge right here, guys, and it's just not going away. Let me go get my triage oil. We'll show you how that works on electric shocks that you're getting from nerve pain. Did you hear something happen? Did you hear the news? Talk about fatty fat boy. All right, everyone is back. Everyone has returned. All right, so I have this electrical shock feeling. It feels like someone has an electrical cable and they're holding it to my, just this little part right here. I could point to it with this other camera here. Look at this. Look. Right here where my finger is. Right here, right by my spine. And it's funny, it's because this is where I broke my neck in the motorcycle accident. And the doctor said this was going to be happening to me as I got older. And sure enough, yeah, it happens. So the reason I'm not putting the triage oil on right now is because that feeling it's basically gone. It feels a little numb in that area right now. But I'm going to wait to see if it comes back, and as soon as it comes back, I'm going to grab the triage oil and put it on there. Because if I had put it on and it just went away, I'd be like, oh, it worked, blah, blah, blah. No, I want to show you how it works when I'm literally right in the middle of getting that feeling.
And everything figured out so that it's not a big surprise to you next year when you file your return. But nothing to report in 23, but you will report a gain or loss in 2024 for the forced liquidation of a part of your assets that you were holding, like your claim for what you received back in the distribution. And then
that's her impersonation of Sophisticated Day.
Additional gain or loss in 2025.
That's funny.
On what you get back relative to your cost basis again.
Michael Weil Jr., what's up?
I guess 2025, assuming everything wraps up next year.
On the Instagram.
They're going to do like the second round of distribution if people don't claim, 1 year away. But they also, you might get more in the future. Who knows? It's still up in the air. You might get nothing. Yeah. I'm not crossing my fingers, but we'll see.
Safe harbor Ponzi, there's been talks about that. Can we do it? Do we have to wait until Celsius is officially declared a Ponzi? From your knowledge of being an expert on the tax code.
There it is. There's the nerve pain, guys. Okay, it's not stopping either.
For people to take that.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. Or losses. If you have gains larger than the standard deduction, then most likely that would be
I've got a pull in my arm while I'm trying to.
Do you have other capital gains? I mean, I will say with the Ponzi loss, and I'll talk about this more, but it is more risky. Like taking the capital loss, kind of easy, whatever. It's just going to go on your 8949 where all your other crypto activities going. The safe harbor Ponzi loss is
just
not
like that.
Common that the IRS
triage oil, guys.
And you have to make an election for it.
The
you
miracle
have to say, I'm not
oil.
gonna amend any of my previous year's returns. I'm taking this big loss up front. I might have income or loss in the future. But it's more involved for sure. But it also has a lot bigger opportunity to deduct a loss. So if your numbers are big enough, it's totally worth considering, but just know there is more risk with it. So if you're I could go either way, go for capital. But if you it's significantly
her company does crypto taxes.
I would definitely recommend that. We've already done it for a few clients, so yeah.
And again, there's so many variables with your other income, real estate, how much money you make. It just sounds like it's very personalized as to what would make the most sense.
I know most crypto things I can kind of give blanket statements and this is kind of how it's treated, but this one it's okay, how much time do you have? I need to ask you 1,000 questions to figure out which one's better. So if you book a consultation with us, I'll make sure we go through all those and help determine. But again, it's even if I have all the facts, the thing that's most important is that cost basis. So I could have all the facts in the world, but now I need to know what your cost basis is to figure which one's better. So if you don't know it, we'll help you calculate it for sure.
And if you've been involved in crypto and you've done DeFi, I found that to be really difficult, even with some of this online software, to really figure out cost basis. Especially, my gosh, you just move the same coin and you 1,000 times. You're like, what? Where did it start?
If you miss one piece of the puzzle, then all of a sudden everything gets messed up, and you go to pull the final report, and it's we're missing this cost basis, we're missing this, and you're
right.
I don't know where it is. I can't find the hole in the data.
Right.
So we help identify the holes, clean them all up. We love being in the blockchain and in the weeds and APIs all day long. So
I think that's why a lot of people they open up one of these tax softwares and then they do it. They upload their CSV files and they're like, there's a hole, and then they're just like, screw this, and then they just don't do it.
Yes, that's what happened to me.
Okay, well, Coinly doesn't work. I guess.
It doesn't work, dude. This thing doesn't work. It says there's two.
And they just
it gives you two fucking pages.
Make assumptions for you. So you'd be like,
of
oh, that looks
all these
better than, like, the
items
assumption
that are
we put
listed, and
down.
then
So,
you go for the
there's
year
really
that you
benefits
need,
to
and there's
picking
nothing
price off. We
there.
use it ourselves, but there's also risk in having it wrong. And a lot of our clients have come to us who maybe calculated their own in the past, but they're like, hey, this year I want you to take care of it. And then we're like, okay, we took care of this year. Also, like, the last few years were messed up, so we need to fix that. But I had a client recently who did it himself, and he reported $2 million of gains, and then we did it for him, and it was only $1 million of gains, so he got like a $500,000 refund. So that was big. I mean, our fee, it's not cheap, but transparent, we charge $500 an hour. But usually, like, what you pay us, you will make up in tax savings. Obviously, if you just have like a few $100s, and it's not gonna make up, but like for any sort of, like, you know, thousands of dollars here, this is totally gonna make up for it, in my opinion. But especially with losses, because it's
fucking
like,
Vocal Fry
you
shit.
just take the amount of loss we take. We're gonna.
I can only listen to Vocal Fry like for so long. So, okay, I've just learned a lot what I need to do. That's good. That was very informative. My head is hurting. God, there's a lot of people who responded to his video. You didn't respond to that one. He's like, $500 an hour is insane. He says the best fucking CPAs in New York don't charge anywhere near that. Everyone's asking tax questions. Huh. She's responding to people in the chat. She's responding to people in the chat. She's answering tax questions. That's funny.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aaron here.
Someone else said 500 an hour? So people can leave a chat and leave a tip now on YouTube. I didn't know that. Max 3,000 capital loss per year. If you fully understand what your cost basis is. Someone's like, for example, if I had $8,000.53 of fucking Bitcoin. I like how they say, for example, and then they use, actual the numbers. It's like, don't say example. If. Just say, okay, I had this much in. What is blah, blah, blah. People are so fucking funny. $5 tip. Look at that. On the chat. Wow. How do you calculate how much Bitcoin was liquidated in the first distribution? Also, I had Bitcoin and a little bit of USDC and Celsius. Do I get to choose which one is liquidated for the first distribution? What? Whatever. I'm just waiting for my goddamn email so I can get my crypto, man. Fuck that shit. Someone said $500 an hour, not a chance. Aaron replied to that. It's worth it to a lot of people, he said. Huh. He said, add it to the saga of people capitalizing on our loss, someone said. That's $4,000 to $5,000 a day that firm's bringing in just per client. Imagine they have to spend 10 hours on your shit. Tracking down your goddamn purchases. Oh my god. Well, well, well. Where's my Rumble page? That is so funny. How did the Rumble page disappear? Oh, this must have been it. Live. Sad numbers and even sadder chats. So I thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next one. If people would participate or just say stuff in the chat, I would definitely keep going, but I have no reason to if there's no one here that's going to speak. So you guys take care. Thanks for watching. No law regarding cannabis, and I am at Nay's Garden on Twitter. The show runs live on Nay's Garden Show on Instagram, but you shouldn't even watch from there. Just use it as a notification. And it's also being broadcast from Crypto Culture 420 or Crypto Cult 420, something like that. I don't know. I don't even know the name of it anymore. I can't even keep up with it. Was that YouTube or was that Twitter? Crypto cult. What was it? YouTube? It's YouTube, a YouTube channel, right? Here, wait, let me see. Is it? Oh, that was broadcasting via Rumble to the crypto cult thing, but I don't think I go to that one. No. Yeah, I don't connect to that one on here. It's a small channel. I only use it for that one thing. But, alright. Later.